My name's Natasha and welcome to Only in Your Mind. This week's makeup is a reboot makeup, which means I redid my C3PO makeup. About 2 years ago, I did several Star Wars makeups, and in my videos, I put music that I thought was royalty-free music, and I'm not sure if it is because I went looking for the actual artist who created it and posted it as being royalty-free music, and I can't find it. So I was kind of leery about that, and I didn't want my videos to get flagged, so I decided that I need to either redo my makeups or try to edit. And I decided to go ahead and redo my makeups. So I'll put my C3PO here. Check out my makeup that I did 2 years ago. And if you guys would like to see how I did this makeup, please keep watching.
For this makeup, I'm wearing a strapless dress. I already matted down my eyebrows, and I'm going to start off with this white eyeliner to map out where I want C3PO's face to be on my face. For this makeup, I used several photos that I found online as a reference photo, and I probably should have just stuck with one because you'll see the changes that I did through the makeup just with the lighting from each photo. But for C3PO's color, I used yellow from Paradise, and then on top of that, I added a gold color from Fab just to give it a little bit of shine. And you really can't tell the difference when I add this gold color on top, but here's where I started adding the gold color, but it does cut down on the brightness of the yellow. And since C3PO is not really a yellow color, it's more of a gold color, it does help kind of tone down that yellow that I used. And now that I have that gold color on my brush, I'm just going to go over the lines that I did with the white liner, and I can kind of see through and find where those lines are. Okay, earlier I mentioned that I used too many reference photos when doing this makeup, and this is where it starts to get kind of confusing with how much shading and shadowing I need, because I use several photos. But basically all the shading and shadowing, it's going to be in the same areas no matter what, because he has the same shape. And for the shading and shadowing here, I alternated between brown eyeshadow and starblend in black. For my first C3PO makeup that I did about 2 years ago that you've seen in my intro, basically is the same identical thing. And like I said before, since his shape has not changed, the shadows are going to fall in the same area. And this makeup is a lot more detailed than I did in my first makeup, and I'm happy with the results. With starblend in black, which is a powder, I'm going around with a tiny brush and doing all the detail work. And because it's a powder, it's not going to be really sharp, so this is going to aid as the shadows in all of these areas. Time for a snack of black cherries. I get really hungry doing these makeups, and sometimes I have to stop for a break. Now that I'm done with my snack, it's safe to say I can paint my lips. And I'm going to start blending down the shadows to kind of make it look less harsh. And when I realized that I blended it down just a little too much, I'm going to go in with some of that gold from Fab and a little bit of black on that brush, and then kind of fade it in and blend it around where you would see he has those curves on his face. Now it's time for some detail work. I'm going to take a small thin brush with some Cameleon black and go around and do some detailing. I'm going to do his mouth and all the corners and areas that you may see that have a darker shadow, which would be on his face, by his mouth, and then don't forget the neck with that same color that I've been using for his whole body, which is Paradise Yellow and Fab Gold. I'm going to go around his head and add those areas that I didn't do earlier. Then with some more yellow on that brush, I'm going to add some highlights. And those highlights would be right next to those shadows. And as you can tell, some of those highlights are brighter than the others, which basically would be more yellow that I added on the brush. Now that the paint has dried on the areas that I just added, I'm going to do some more detail work with that thin brush and Cameleon black. And for the details, it entails lots of lines which are not straight. I really have to work on getting my lines to look straight. After doing that circle, I'm going to add some highlights in there and then move on to the shoulders, which I'm going to add some highlights, then follow that up with some of that Cameleon black for the lines. For the dent on his forehead, I'm going to do a little bit of shading and shadowing and then throw in some highlights, and it'll help with that illusion that there is like a dent on his forehead. In my first makeup that I did with C3PO, I had a hard time getting the circle to be round, so I used this cap and put some paint on the bottom and then basically kind of stamped on a circle and then traced it with my thin brush, and it did help to get the circle to look a lot better. Then I added some lines in that circle, and now I'm going around with some Paradise White and doing some more highlights that will stand out even better. So let's take a break from doing some highlights and work on his mouth. I added some yellow to the top of his mouth, and then for the bottom part of his mouth I added yellow and then that highlight of white, which I think turned out awesome. And now I'm going to go around and add some more highlights. Okay guys, we are coming to the end of this makeup. Just got to do some finishing touches, like some more shading, shadowing, highlights, and then darkening out the negative spots, which would be the background area that won't be seen in the makeup, and then adding some dots for his eyes. I just wanted to take the time to thank you guys for hanging out with me while I redid this makeup. I needed to redo this makeup because I did not want to get flagged for my music choice that I chose 2 years ago, and I'm pretty sure it was something that was not royalty-free music. It was awesome music, but not royalty-free. So thank you guys are awesome.
Thank you guys for watching my video on how I did the makeup of C3PO. And don't forget to come back and check out my other Star Wars makeups that I will be redoing. So, I will see you guys next week.